I want you to finish this saying. I scream, you scream. We all scream for ice cream. If you said ice cream, you're in the perfect place. Join me as we read an ice cream themed book on Dad's Read-Along Stories. This book is all about ice cream. Today we're reading Pete the Cat Screams for Ice Cream. You guys love reading Pete the Cat books. Today is the coolest day. The Just Chillin' ice cream truck is coming, and Pete can't wait. Ice cream, ice cream. So many flavors, like rocking raspberry, far out fudge, and tabby twirl, cotton candy, kitty paw tracks, and rainbow swirl. Let's go bananas, unicorn blast, and sprinkles galore. There's got to be a million flavors and maybe more. Pete can't wait, and he can't be late. Hey Pete, what's your hurry? Asks Gus. I don't have time to play, just chillin'. Ice cream truck is coming today. I can't wait, and it's getting late. He's thinking about ice cream, that's all he cares about. Oh no, Gus looks so lonely. Can Pete make the time? Yes, being a friend is groovy, and Pete knows it's cool to be kind. Pete stops. He and Gus have a nice chat. Thanks, Pete, you are one kind cat. Pete, what's your hurry? Asks Grumpy Toad. Sorry, I have to be on my way. Just chillin' ice cream truck is coming today. I can't wait, and it's getting late. Oh no, Grumpy looks frustrated. Can Pete make the time? Yes, lending a hand is sweet, and Pete knows it's cool to be kind. Wow, they fixed the flat tire. Thanks, Pete, you are one kind cat. Hey, Pete, what's your hurry? Asks Callie. It's a shame I can't stay. Just chillin' ice cream truck is coming today. I can't wait, and it's getting late. Oh no, the park is a mess. Can Pete make the time? Yes, working together rocks, and Pete knows it's cool to be kind. Awesome! Pete and Callie clean the park just like that. Thanks, Pete. You're one kind cat. Oh no, Pete checks his watch. He did run out of time, but then he sees the clean park. Grumpy riding his motorcycle, and Gus with a smile. Today is the coolest day. Pete is glad he took the time, and then, to Pete's surprise, the Just Chillin' ice cream truck comes driving right by. Oh, perfect. Pete screams for ice cream. 1 scoop, 2 scoop, 3 more scoops until, oh no, brain freeze. Have you guys ever had brain freeze? It's when you eat so much cold stuff that your brain, it hurts, it freezes. Ice cream is cool, but what's cooler than that? Taking your time to be one kind cat. The end. Thank you guys for reading Pete the Cat Screams for Ice Cream. Ice cream is amazing, but being a good friend is even more amazing. And I'll see you next time on Dad's Read-Along Stories. Bye.
Welcome to Dad's Read-Along Stories. Hi, welcome to Dad's Read-Along Stories.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Dad's Read-Along Stories, and today we have another Pete the Cat book today. This one looks very interesting. It's called Robo-Pete. Pete the Cat gets into so many adventures, and I'm excited to see how robots factor into his adventures. So Pete the Cat, Robo-Pete, thank you guys for reading today with me, with Dad's Read-Along Stories. Let's read Robo-Pete. What a great sunny morning. Pete can't wait to play baseball with his friends. Do you want to play catch? Pete asks Larry. I can't, says Larry. I'm going to the library. Do you want to play catch? Pete asked Callie. I was about to go for a bike ride, said Callie. Do you want to play catch? Pete asks John. Well, I can't right now, said John. I have to paint the fence. Pete wishes his friends would do what he wants to do. It's no fun playing catch all by yourself. If only I knew another me, Pete thinks. And like that, Pete had a great idea. Pete builds a robot. He programs it to be just like him. "Welcome to the world, Robo-Pete," Pete says to the robot. "You're my new best friend. We'll do everything together." "And I want to play catch," says Pete. "Great idea," says Robo-Pete. This is funny. Pete and Robo-Pete play catch. "Wow," says Pete, running after the ball. "You sure can throw far." Robo-Pete throws farther and farther until... "Time out," says Pete as he tries to catch his breath. "Let's play something else." I want to play whatever you want to play," Robo-Pete says proudly. I gotta remember my robot voice. "How about we play hide and seek," says Pete. "That will be fun," says Robo-Pete. Pete finds the best hiding place ever. He's sure that Robo-Pete will never find him. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Robo-Pete says. "Ready or not, here I come." "Gotcha," shouts Robo-Pete, tagging Pete. "Hey, how did you find me?" says Pete. "With my homing device," says Robo-Pete. "I can find anyone, anywhere." "Okay, enough hide and seek," says Pete. "Let's play some guitar." Pete teaches Robo-Pete how to play a song that he made up. "You have to feel the music," says Pete. "Okay," says Robo-Pete. "To feel it, I need to play loud," explains Robo-Pete. Pete tries to stop Robo-Pete, but Robo-Pete can't hear him over the noise. "This is fun," says Robo-Pete. "This is awful," says Pete the cat. "Okay," says Robo-Pete. "Let's ride our skateboards instead." Before Pete can answer, Robo-Pete's feet transform into a motorized skateboard with super speedy wheels. "Let's go!" Robo-Pete shouts. "Wait!" calls Pete. Pete chases after Robo-Pete. He has no idea where Robo-Pete is going. Robo-Pete crashes into the sandbox at the playground. "Are you okay?" Pete asks the robot. "I am a robot. I am indestructible," says Robo-Pete. "What is this strange place?" "It's a playground," says Pete. He waves to his friends. "This is Robo-Pete," Pete says to Callie, Larry, and John. "I made him myself." "Cool," says Larry. "We are going to help John finish painting," says Callie, "and then we are going bike riding." "I want to go on the slide," interrupts Robo-Pete. "Robo-Pete, I want to help my friends paint the fence," Pete tells his robot. "Paint the fence? That would be great," Robo-Pete says. "I am programmed to paint faster than everyone." Pete and his friends try to help, but Robo-Pete paints too fast. So instead, they ride bikes, and they read books. And after Robo-Pete is done painting, they help him clean the brushes. Pete realizes that it doesn't matter what they do, just being with his friends is what makes it fun. The end. That was good. That was really good. I think you guys will like Robo-Pete by Pete the Cat by James Dean. That was a great book. Thank you guys so much for reading with me, and I hope you have an awesome day. Dad's Read Along Stories out. Hello everybody, welcome to my totally real campsite. I thought this campsite would be the perfect place for us to read Pete the Cat Goes Camping. Thanks for hanging out with me today.
Welcome to Dad's Read-Along Stories.
Thanks again for being here, and let's read Pete the Cat Goes Camping. Pete the Cat Goes Camping. Pete is excited to go camping. This is his first time. Hey you, have you ever gone camping before? Maybe if you go camping, it might be your first time, just like Pete. Don't forget your sleeping bag, said Dad. Or your hiking boots, Mom says. The campsite is deep in the woods. Mom and Dad set up a tent. Pete and Bob help collect sticks so they can make a fire later. Pete and Bob go for a hike. Bob shows Pete the footprints of different animals. Do you think we'll see anything cool? Says Pete. Maybe, says Bob. Pete and his dad go fishing. They must be very quiet and very still to catch a fish. Have you ever gone fishing before? Fishing is one of my favorite things to do. Fishing takes a long time, and they finally catch some fish. Yeah. Mom builds a fire. She cooks the fish for dinner. It tastes yummy. Next, Pete roasts marshmallows. Pete makes s'mores with chocolate and graham crackers. S'mores are a staple of a good camping trip. It starts to get dark out. Bob tells Pete a story about a scary, hairy giant. The giant lives in the woods. His name is Bigfoot. Bigfoot. Ooh. Do you think Bigfoot lives here? Says Pete. No one has ever seen Bigfoot, says Bob. Don't let Bob scare you, says Dad. Bigfoot is not real, Mom says. Pete sighs with relief. But if he is real, I bet he's friendly, said Dad, and likes s'mores too. That's not scary, thinks Pete. Maybe he wants a s'more. Pete leaves one out for his hairy friend. Soon it's time for bed. Lights out, boys, Dad says. He's pouring water on the fire. Safety first. Bob and Pete share a tent. Pete goes into his sleeping bag. It is cozy, but he can't sleep. The woods seem extra dark, and all the sounds seem extra loud at night. Pete hears a weird swooshing sound. What is that? He asks Bob. That's just the wind, says Bob. Pete hears an odd chirping sound. What is that? He asks out loud. Those are just the crickets. Pete hears a strange hooting sound. What is that? He wonders. That's just an owl. Pete thinks of his friend Owl. Pete hears a loud snapping sound. Crack! What is that? He wonders. But Bob is already fast asleep. Pete listens carefully. Crack! Is it Bigfoot? Pete peeks outside. It is too dark to see anything. When Pete wakes up, he checks the spot where he left the s'mores for Bigfoot. The s'mores are gone. There is a note. The note says, "Thanks for the treat. XOXO." Pete shows his family. Wow, I knew Bigfoot was real, says Bob. Pete knows Bigfoot is not scary. Just because he looks different doesn't mean he's scary. He even likes s'mores, too. The end. Thank you guys so much for reading Pete the Cat Goes Camping with me today. Maybe you like camping. Maybe you've never gone camping. Maybe this summer would be the best first time for you to go camping. But wherever you're at in your camping journey, I'm glad you read with me today, and I'll see you next time on Dad's Read-Along Stories. Hello everybody, welcome to Dad's Read-Along Stories. My name is Josh, I'm a dad, and today we are reading Pete the Cat, Go Pete Go, by James Dean. Pete the Cat, go Pete, go. Let's read. It's a beautiful day, and Pete the Cat has decided to take his bike for a ride. Nothing makes Pete happier than feeling the sun on his fur and the breeze on his face. Vroom vroom. Turtle has a new race car. Who wants to have a race? He says. Not me, says Grumpy Toad. My motorcycle has a flat tire. Not me, says Emma. My car is too old and slow. Not me, says Callie. My bus is a work of art. It's not meant for racing. I'll race you, says Pete, knowing how much Turtle likes to race. But your bike has no motor, says Turtle. My race car is super quick. I'll win for sure. That's okay, says Pete. I just want to try my best and have fun. Everyone is excited for the big race. On your mark, get set, go, shouts Callie. Turtle steps on the gas pedal and vroom, vroom, zooms away. Pete waves goodbye and then he pedals off. Pete sees Turtle up ahead. Turtle slows down to let Pete catch up. "Check this out," shouts Turtle. He presses a button and vroom, vroom, fins appear. Now Turtle's race car goes even faster. Pete's bike doesn't have fins, but he does have a basket. He stops and takes out a tasty red apple. Nothing is better than a tasty red apple on a beautiful day. I agree. Turtle sees that Pete is way behind. He spies a diner up ahead. "Might as well grab a bite to eat," Turtle says as he pulls into a parking lot. "Yum," says Turtle, eating a grilled cheese sandwich. He's in no rush. He will for sure win the race. "Dessert?" the waitress asks. "Don't mind if I do," Turtle says. While Turtle finishes his lunch, Pete continues pedaling. The sun is high and the breeze is blowing. It's a beautiful day for a race. Pete sees Turtle leaving the diner. Pete waves hello, but Turtle doesn't wave back. Turtle just jumps in his car and peels off. "I guess he didn't see me," Pete shrugs. But Turtle did see Pete. He knows that Pete isn't going to give up easily. So Turtle presses a button, and his tires inflate into mag wheels that let him swerve around the corners at top speeds. Vroom! Pete passes a rose bush as he goes around the curve. Pete knows he should be racing, but he can't resist. The roses are just so beautiful, he has to stop to smell them. Turtle sees that he has a huge lead. He knows that he's going to win. He stops for a nice cold glass of lemonade, and that's when he sees the hammock hanging between two trees. He's exhausted from racing so fast. He figures a quick nap will help him in the home stretch. Pete pedals past and sees Turtle sleeping. That's cool, Pete thinks as he rides by as quietly as he can. Turtle must be very tired. I'm glad he's getting some rest. Grumpy Toad finds Turtle fast asleep. "Wake up, Turtle," says Grumpy Toad. "If you don't get back in the race, Pete is going to win." "That's impossible," says Turtle, thinking it must be a joke. But it's no joke. Turtle presses a button and rocket boosters appear, making him go super duper fast. Vroom! But by the time Turtle nears the finish line, Pete has already won the race. "How did you do it?" Turtle asks. "Slow and steady," says Pete. "Maybe next time, instead of racing, we can ride together." "Great idea," says Turtle. What a great race. What a great day. The end. Thank you guys so much for reading Pete the Cat, Go Pete Go by James Dean. And it's a good reminder that sometimes slow and steady wins the race. Thank you guys so much, and I am excited to read with you next time.
Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Dad's Read Along Stories. My name is Josh, I'm a dad, and today we're gonna continue reading books together, and we're gonna read Pete the Cat and the Treasure Map by James Dean. Where are my Pete the Cat fans at? Let's read this book together. I am so excited. Pete the Cat and the Treasure Map by James Dean. Captain Pete looks across Cat Cove. The sun is sparkling on the water. It's a beautiful day for an adventure. Something flies towards Captain Pete's ship. It's a parrot. "Squawk," says the parrot. She gives Captain Pete a crumpled up piece of paper. "What is it?" asked First Mate Callie. Callie right here. Pete the Cat. Captain Pete looks at the paper. There's a long trail that ends with an X. It's a treasure map, he says. Treasure, says first mate Callie. Where? On Secret Island, says Captain Pete. Let's go, says first mate Callie. Woohoo! Cries the crew. Treasure! Sploosh! Splash! Captain Pete steers the ship towards the big waves. The salty wind pushes the sail. The ship is going really fast. Have you guys ever been on a boat before? It's fun, but it's a little scary. Good job, mateys, says Captain Pete. We'll be there in no time.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. Could you do something for me really quick? Could you like this video and could you subscribe to my YouTube channel? That would help me to be able to make so many more videos for you guys, and it would be so awesome. Thank you so much.
Uh-oh, Captain Pete spoke too soon. He spied something coming towards them. What is that? Asked first mate Callie. A giant arm reaches up and splashes the water. Kaboom! Kersplash! It makes a wave that crashes down on Pete's boat. Squat! Cries the parrot. Ugh! Yells the crew. Splash! Another arm comes crashing down. The crew is scared, but not Captain Pete. He knows that the monster isn't trying to scare them. He's rocking a cool beat. It's a music monster, I guess. Captain Pete takes out his guitar and strums. The monster rises out of the water. The crew takes cover, but the monster stops when he hears Pete playing. Looks like Pete is playing guitar. He nods his head along. He's not a scary sea monster. He's an awesome sea drummer. Rock on, says Captain Pete. Thanks, booms the monster. He could talk too. That's silly. Oh no, Captain, shouts first mate Callie. A big storm is coming. Batten down the hatches, says Captain Pete. Everyone gets ready for the storm. The wind tosses the ship, but the crew is brave. Captain Pete has an idea. Hey there, friend, he yells to the sea monster. We need some help. The monster grabs the ship with his giant arms and gives it a big, great boost, and the ship moves through the storm. Hooray! Shouts the crew as the monster swims up to the boat. Thanks, friend, yells Captain Pete. No problem, booms the monster. Land ho! Yells first mate Callie, pointing out over the sea. All the pirates rush to look. It's Secret Island, says Captain Pete. On their beach, their buddy Grumpy Toad is waiting with a glittering pile of treasure. Ahoy, mateys! You got my map, Grumpy Toad says. Treasure is no fun if you can't share it with your friends. Sharing is good. The crew is so happy they do cat wheels in the sand. Thanks, Grumpy Toad, they shout. I think we're missing something, says Captain Pete. Let's play some music. There's a good music book. What a great idea, says Grumpy Toad. The pirates load all the treasure onto the ship. Captain Pete takes out his guitar and strums, but something is missing from his song. Our drummer, Captain Pete says, as the sea monster pops his head up from above the water. Would you like to join my crew? Aye, booms the monster. Rock on, Captain Pete says, as the monster joins in on a rockin' pirate tune. Captain Pete's crew is complete. All the pirates sing. Yo-ho, yo-ho, a pirate's life from us. Boom! Oh man, that was a really good book. Pete the Cat, so silly, so fun. Pirate stories, so fun. Thanks for reading with me today, guys. I will see you soon.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Dad's Read-Along Stories. My name is Josh, I'm a dad, and today we are reading Pete the Cat, Out of This World by James Dean. You guys like Pete the Cat? I do as well, so we're going to keep reading these books together. Pete the Cat, Out of This World by James Dean. Let's read it. Starting right here. It's a great day. Pete the cat is going to space camp. Whoa, did you guys know space camp is a real thing? Have you ever been to space camp before? It's pretty cool. Pete meets his bunk mate Glenn. As they unpack, there's an announcement. Welcome, space campers. Please head to the classroom. Your mission begins now. Time to suit up, says Pete. He and Glenn put on their uniforms and race to class. There are so many cool things to do and super neat stuff to see. Astronauts Tom and Chris talk about the trips they've taken, and they give a sneak peek at future space trips. Wow. It would be totally rad to go to space, says Pete. The campers find out what it feels like to be an astronaut. They go in the zero gravity chamber and they ride in rovers. They even build rockets. Pete's rocket flies very, very far. Way to go, Pete, shouts Glenn. Next stop is Mission Control. We have some exciting news, says Tom. Our next flight leaves today. We're going to the moon, and we have room for more. Pete, do you want to go? asks Sally. That would be awesome, says Pete. Pete gets to go to space. It's time to buckle up and settle into the space capsule. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off! That's cool. That's awesome. Look at that big space shuttle in space. Their ship speeds through space. They blast past a satellite and even spot a comet. Tom and Sally have a rockin' surprise for Pete. They brought his guitar. He plays a groovy interstellar song for them. Mission Control listens in. In no time at all, they arrive on the moon, and they are ready to explore. The astronauts collect rocks and map out the moon's surface. Pete has a very important job to do. He straps on a jetpack and heads towards Mars. He takes tons of pictures. Oh no, Pete lost track of time and the moon is far, far away. He has to make it back to the ship before it blasts off. Phew, Pete made it back in the nick of time. The astronauts head home, and there's time for a few more tunes. Pete sure knows how to make an entrance. Pete's trip to outer space was out of this world. Still, he's psyched to have his feet back on solid ground. Rock it on, Pete! The end. Thank you guys for reading Pete the Cat Out of This World. Going to space and rockets and the moon is all super cool stuff for you guys to learn about and dream about. And I will see you guys next time when we read more books together. Bye! Hello everybody, welcome back to Dad's Read Along Stories, and I have something that I know you will like, and it is another Pete the Cat book. You guys always love Pete the Cat. Those videos always get a lot of views. So I'm listening to the kids, and we are reading Pete the Cat Super Pete by James and Kimberly Dean. It mixes things that kids really love. My son Liam loves Pete the Cat and superheroes. So a Pete the Cat superhero book was absolutely perfect. So let's read Pete the Cat Super Pete together. Thanks guys for being here and joining me today. Let's do this. Pete the cat is out for a walk. Pete listens to the owls. He listens to the frogs. Just then, Pete hears a beep. It's not coming from outside, but it's coming from his watch. Pete races home. It's time for Pete the cat to become Super Pete. Doo-doo. Pete presses a button in his room, and the wall slides away. Pete sees a set of steps. Down, down, down he goes. Pete steps into his lair. It's full of groovy things to help him fight crime. We got a crime computer, wanted posters, a bat, a mouse, a whoopee cushion, a skateboard, a slingshot, ninja stars, a rope. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff in here, guys. Pete the cat puts on his awesome cat costume, his awesome cat suit. He puts on his cape and his sneakers. Now, Super Pete is ready to save the city. Pete sees a flashing light. There's a message on his computer. It is the mayor. "Come quick, Super Pete," the mayor says. "We need your help. There is trouble at the warehouse." Pete pulls a lever. Whoosh! Pete's nifty jet sinks into his lair. He has an airplane. This is wild. Pete hops into the jet. He zips into the air. Super Pete is on his way to save the day. Wow. Pete races through the sky. He hits a button and the jet shimmers. The jet disappears. Now the jet is invisible. No one will know that Super Pete is coming. Pete hovers over the warehouse. He straps on a parachute. He jumps. Pete lands on the roof. He goes inside the warehouse. It is dark. He cannot see. Wow. This is awesome. Whoa. Pete puts on his let's get serious, guys. Puts on his night vision goggles. He sees two bad guys. They're carrying a box. 1, 2. Pete picks up a rock. He puts it in his slingshot. Boom! The rock hits the box. The bad guys drop the box and they climb out the window. Pete races to the window. The bad guys have a boat. They're getting away. No, Super Pete. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Pete pushes a button on his cat suit. His sneakers turn into flippers. What? That's amazing. And a mask closes over his face. Pete jumps into the water and he swims after the bad guys. Pete takes a rope from his pocket. He twirls it over his head. Pete aims, he throws, and the rope catches the boat. Let's go, Super Pete. Nice work. Pete pulls himself up along the rope. Pete climbs into the bad guy's boat, and he ties up the bad guys. Let's go. Pete pushes the button on his watch. The jet appears above him. Pete pulls the bad guys into his jet. Pete brings the bad guys to the mayor. Super Pete saves the day. The end. I bet you guys didn't know that Pete the Cat was actually a superhero called Super Pete. Thank you guys for reading with me today on Dad's Read Along Stories. And you can be a superhero too. It's not just about powers or gadgets. It's about showing love and kindness to the people around you. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time on Dad's Read Along Stories. Ba-bam! Hello everybody, welcome back to Dad's Read Along Stories. We have another Pete the Cat book for you today. This is Pete the Cat Checks Out the Library, and I just want to say, so many of these books that I read for you guys, or I get inspired by, they come from the library. So let's learn all about the library. Let's read Pete the Cat Checks Out the Library by James Dean. Pete's mom is taking him to the library for the first time. The librarian gives Pete his very own library card. Cool, says Pete. The librarian smiles. Time for the tour. The librarian takes Pete through the library. There's a big desk where people wait to check out books. Pete sees some of his friends reading at a long table. It's very peaceful and quiet. How relaxing. The librarian takes Pete to her favorite room. There are lots of Pete-sized chairs and tables and shelves. There are books of every shape, size, and color. What do I do now? Pete asks. Now you read a book, the librarian says. Which book should I read? Asks Pete. You can read any book you'd like, says the librarian. Pete looks around. There are so many books. Every time we go to the library, there are so many books. We could never look at them all. We could never read them all. There's so many. Let's see what happens with Pete. Pete picks up a book all about airplanes and jets. He reads it and pretends that he is a stunt pilot. He flies a super fast jet and does loop-de-loops and spirals high in the sky. Then Pete finds a book with dragons, wizards, and unicorns on the cover. He reads it and imagines that he is a powerful wizard, using magic spells and a special wand to defend his castle against a fire-breathing dragon. Next, Pete opens up a book about spiders and insects. He reads it and imagines that he is a scientist studying all kinds of critters in the wild. He has to be very still to study some critters, and very fast to study others. Then Pete chooses a book with all sorts of scary monsters on the cover. It's a book of fairy tales. Pete reads it and pretends that he is in a dark, spooky forest, trying to outsmart a big, bad wolf. Pete puts that book back on the shelf. It's too scary. Some books are really scary. Pete opens up a book about the pyramids in Egypt. He reads it and pretends that he is an explorer riding a camel across the desert and climbing to the top of a giant pyramid. Next, Pete picks a book with all sorts of robots on the cover. He reads it and imagines that he is a robot at a robot dance party. His arms and legs make whizzing sounds when he moves. When Robot Pete speaks, he says bleep, bloop, bleep. That's funny. Next, Pete picks up a book about superheroes. He reads it and make-believes that he is a superhero. He flies around the city in a colorful cape, chasing bad guys and saving the day. Then, Pete spots a big book about the ocean and all its creatures. He reads it and imagines that he is a scientist in a submarine deep in the Atlantic Ocean, looking for whales, squids, and sharks. There are so many wonderful books to read at the library. Pete can be whatever he imagines with a book. Reading is super groovy. Thank you guys so much for reading. Pete the Cat checks out the library. Ask your mom and dad to take you to the library so you can see all the books and your imagination can run wild. I'll see you guys later. See ya. Hello everybody, welcome back to Dad's Read-Along Stories, and today we are reading a special Pete the Cat book. I know just saying Pete the Cat makes it special because you love Pete the Cat, but this is even specialer, I don't know if that's a word, because it is a comic book, Pete the Cat. I think it's like the only one. So we're going to read Pete the Cat Making New Friends, a comic by Kimberly and James Dean. Comics are awesome because they're different than normal books. Look at this. It's all set up different. There's different ways to read, and we see what they say through these little bubbles. So let's read Pete the Cat Making New Friends. Meet Secret Agent Meow, also known as Pete the Cat. Gizmo Watch. Gizmo Watch. What new case do we have today? When there is a mystery, Agent Meow is always on the case. A new case falls into Agent Meow's lap. I want to play, but no one wants to play with me. That's what the squirrel is saying. Squirrel is lonely. Maybe I can help. Don't worry, Squirrel, I'm on the case. What? Who are you? What case? I'm Agent Meow. I will help you make new friends. Come into my office. You want to help me? That's awesome. But how? With my amazing Gizmo watch, of course. What do you like to do? I like to roller skate. I like to tap dance. Tap, tap, tap. And I love to draw. Time to crack this case. The case of the lonely squirrel. Case number 99. I don't know anyone who roller skates. Agent Meow asks his Gizmo watch for a clue. But Grumpy loves to skateboard. I don't know anyone who tap dances. Agent Meow asked his Gizmo watch for another clue. But Callie loves ballet. I don't know anyone who loves to draw. Agent Meow asked his gizmo watch for another clue. But Emma loves to paint. Meow, I got it! Come with me. That's not roller skating. Right, but you and Grumpy both love to roll. So he's connecting him with people that have similar interests. Sometimes, if you're trying to make new friends, talking to someone who likes something just like what you like is often how you start a friendship. Tap, tap, tap. That's not tapping. Right, but you and Callie both love to dance. That's not drawing. Right, but you and Emma both love to make art. Ready to make some new friends? I can try. Moments later, so he connects them with people that are similar. Do you want to swap? Cool. Neat. A little while later, tap, tap, tap. Wow, do you want to swap? Awesome. Tap, tap, tap. Bravo. It's working. He's making friends. A little while after that, do you want to try? Let's try it together. Viola. Groovy. When you are lonely and don't know what to do, try to find someone who enjoys the same things as you. Thank you, Agent Meow. New friends are easy to find if you know how to look for them. And so, Secret Agent Meow solves another case. Case closed. The end. Thank you guys so much for reading Pete the Cat Making New Friends, a special comic book edition of Pete the Cat, and I hope it helps you make new friends. So just think about it. If you're having a hard time making friends, think of the things that you love to do and find other people. If you love soccer, find another kid who loves soccer. If you go to church, talk to other kids at church. If you love to draw, find someone else who loves to draw and draw a picture together. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time on Dad's Read Along Stories.